Hey guys, I just wanted to offer my 2 cents on this situation concerning Afghanistan and our part to play between the Afghan people and also the Taliban. You know, it's pretty sad to see what is taking place on all levels. But upon further examination, I noticed that there's a pattern that has been exposed, I believe, over the past few years. If you remember back in 2001, when we were attacked on September 11th, 2 towers came down, and actually a third building came down, and the Pentagon was attacked. But if you remember in particular, President George Bush had turned around and said in 2002, it's time to go down to Afghanistan and handle such matters to look for Osama bin Laden. Sometime later, we were looking in Iraq instead of Afghanistan because we decided to turn our attention from Osama bin Laden to Saddam Hussein, who weirdly enough was accused of using chemical weapons against the Kurds during the Iran-Iraq war. But when I look back at that time, even at that time, I said, well, how come all of a sudden we're turning our attention from Afghanistan over to Iraq? It didn't make sense to me. And then, if you want to fast forward to 2011 or so, approximately 10 years later, under President Obama's leadership, similar situation, similar accusation where the al-Assad regime in Syria was also accused of using chemical weapons against their own people. And what did we do? We sought to send some weaponry down there in smaller caches. We sought to send some smaller type of weapons to fight. And we also eventually sent people down to train the rebels to fight against the al-Assad regime concerning this civil conflict. And now we have a similar situation going back to Afghanistan. And now the Taliban has now taken over the government in Afghanistan because the former leader had left his post, and now has put the Afghani people in danger. Now, over the past 20 years, just like Syria and even just like Iraq, our troops trained the Afghani people to defend themselves against the Taliban regime. But as Joe Biden put it in his interview with George Stephanopoulos of ABC News, he said that once the water started getting hot and the Taliban started becoming confrontational with the Afghani people, in not so many terms, turned their weapons, put their weapons down, and they retreated. And so now it looks like we have left weapons over in Afghanistan in the hands of the Taliban. And if you remember in Syria, and I know I'm jumping back and forth, but if you remember in Syria, the weapon that we donated to the rebels, that now kind of backfired because now these same rebels turned into what we know as ISIS or ISIL forces. So, here's the thing. My concern now is we have something repetitive taking place. It is coming up on the 20th anniversary of September 11th. We've been given till August 31st to get everyone that we need to get out of there out. Initially, I heard it was something like September 11th as well, but they're saying August 31st. President Biden has been asked, what if that deadline comes and goes? What will we do? He doesn't seem to be too clear on what is happening in terms of what the plan would be to get the rest of the people out. So I don't even know if he's going to be asking for an extension or if the time comes and it goes and whoever's left is left. So we have a lot of people in danger, including American citizens, along with the Afghani people that were trying to get out initially. So hopefully this doesn't backfire, in the sense that we are given retaliation for leaving the people there. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, you guys could correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, I think that was part of Osama bin Laden's gripe. And correct me if I'm wrong again concerning history, but I believe that Afghanistan, they had like conflicts before the United States got involved. And I believe to some degree they were upset again with us for pulling out and leaving them bare. And I think that was part of the precipice that spouted on the attack for 9/11. And now we see similar traits rearing their ugly heads once again. So you guys let me know what you think, because I'm starting to see some weird patterns. Again, you had Saddam Hussein being accused of chemical weapons. You had al-Assad being accused of chemical weapons. And in return, what we did is we sent troops and weaponry down there. We were training troops on both ends. That backfired because now they turned into an organization that kind of, in our eyes, I guess, grew out of control. And it looks like the same thing is threatening to happen, because guess who is brought up in the news again? ISIS, or ISIL forces. So, listen, guys, we don't know everything that is going on down there. We just know what is being put on our plates when the news comes on, but we don't know the backhanded deals that are being done. And the reason why I say this is because if you look at all the things that are going on over here in America with regards to fossil fuels being shut down, 11,000 people being laid off in Texas, if you recall that, because President Biden wanted to go green, yet we're asking OPEC to increase production and reserves so that pumps, the prices at the pumps could be controlled and not too much inflated, right? Because the smaller inventory you have, the higher the price goes, right? It's all a matter of supply and demand. And I did a video not too long ago giving my theory that it had nothing to do with shortage due to weather and all that. But I think there's a new regime that we do not know about. I highly suspect it's a particular country, but I'm not going to put their name in it. But there's some sort of new regime that we don't know about that has acquired control over those same fossil fuels, and also water and food shortages and things of that nature. I don't think it's for any purpose other than there was a new assumption of control, and therefore there's a new controlling of the price points or the price index concerning these commodities. Will we see sooner rather than later? I hope so, because it's getting kind of weird out there. So you put in the comments section what you think is going on, and I'll be more than happy to entertain those thoughts as always. Signing off, I will see you guys on the next video.